Okay. I call this meeting to order. Can everybody stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests as is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Cedar Grove Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be advertised by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on bulletin boards in the district, published and or transmitted to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and Star Ledger newspapers, filed with the township clerk, and posted on the district's website. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke. Mr. Prugalovic.
Here.
Mr. Schoner. Here. Mr. Mandela.
Here.
Mrs. Dye.
Here. The meeting is open to the public for comment on items on the agenda. Seeing none. Good evening.
Good evening.
How's it going?
Do you have any more agendas that we can see? Some of us don't have any agendas.
Are we out?
I ran out of copies. I apologize. If you could share with a neighbor.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing.
Thank you.
So, as I was saying, good evening.
Good evening.
Do we have any committee reports? I know generally people look to me, but it is summertime, so.
I think we're full steam ahead.
All right. So the first thing we're going to have is we're going to do a board presentation on the North End School relocation, and that is going to be presented by Mrs. Dyer. So, and I just want to mention, normally what we do is we have a discussion about items on or off the agenda later in the evening, but since I know that a lot of you are probably here to, possibly voice your concern about this, we're going to open it up after Mrs. Dyer is done, so people can go up and talk at that point rather than waiting until the end of the meeting. So since we do have a big crowd, we are going to adhere to our policy in which anybody who wants to come up and make a statement, they'll be limited to 3 minutes, and that's just so everybody can say what they want to say and have an opportunity to come up. And then if you've already spoken and then you want to speak on the same topic again, you just have to wait until everybody is done coming up and speaking on that very topic, and then you're welcome to come up again, just so everybody gets an opportunity. Okay? Take it away, Mrs. Dyer.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nice to see all of you here today. Of course, we all wish it was under different circumstances, but it happens to be what it is. So, as I start this evening, I want to just talk to you a little bit about what we've done since the incident happened at North End and who we've worked with and how we've gotten to the decision that we've made that we're moving forward with this evening. So as this situation has unfolded, we collaborated with lots of different entities, including the State Department of Education, the Essex County Superintendent's Office. I also met with those members of the North End FSA board that were available, and those from the Principals Roundtable. I also met with our staff members. We met with local entities, including the Cedar Grove Police Department and the Public Safety Division, and then different entities within our town to determine if there were any spaces available for us here that we could utilize. And we started this on
July 19th.
day one of finding out that we had a situation and we had to file a release at North End. So as we went through this process, one of the things that I will start by saying is every situation that we could possibly consider to be a viable solution for our situation, every single thing that we came up with had a list of pros and cons. And ultimately, some things were eliminated immediately because of logistical reasons or other kinds of things, whether the spaces that we were looking at, if they were big enough to support us, or if there were issues with what they were wanting with their facility rental agreement or whatever it may be. Some of them were eliminated because I would have never slept another minute there. setting. So some of those things were just right off the table. The bottom line was we needed to find a place that was going to be the best situation for our entire community. And by that I mean, ultimately, our number one stakeholders are the 3 to 9-year-olds that come to our school every day. And I think most of you know, and hopefully you know, that I take those children as my own children, and I do that every day. And so I think it's something that we have to think about, the fact that we have to be able to be comfortable where what we're going to do. That being said, I'm going to say this. Let's face it. No matter what I would stand up here and present to you, it's not going to be good enough. And it's not going to be good enough. Why? Because it's not North End School. Because we know that North End is where we want our kids to be. And I don't feel any differently than you do. However, we're presented with a situation, we certainly do not want our students or our staff going into a place that is not safe and is not up to code for us and our health. So we have to make sure that we're considering all of those things. So, what we need from you as our community is a little patience and a little understanding, and an open mind. So, that being said, it's decision time. It's time to move forward because obviously, as we went through this whole long process of looking at this option and this option and this option, now we have 25 days until school starts, and so we have to get all these things in order and get us ready for September 12th. So, as we start looking at this, there are not a lot of vacant schools that are up to code that can house all of us. So one of the things that we have discussed, we are working right now with Essex County Services Commission to secure space so that we can keep our youngest students, our pre-K and our kindergarten students at LRP. Now, as you know, we lease that building out to Essex County, and so, but they're working with their superintendent to secure classrooms in that building so that we can keep our pre-K and our kindergarten in Cedar Grove. Now, one thing to keep in mind, morning and aftercare will still go on. Of course, aftercare is only for kindergarten students. The pre-K students do not attend aftercare. But morning care and aftercare would be provided regardless of whether we're at LRP or the other location. All the other logistical details will be shared with the community once we know that we're secure there and how that's going to look. Drop-off times, pick-up times, and all of that kind of stuff. Grades 1 through 4, as I mentioned before, we visited lots of different places, we considered lots of different things, we considered lots of different elements to that in regards to the amount of travel time it would be to a different location. How geographically, we share people, we share staff in South End and the other buildings in the district. Can they physically get from one place to another, and all of the things that kind of go along with that. And we revisited sites. We took some parents to different sites. We took staff members to different sites. My partner in crime, Mrs. DiMatteo, was with me throughout this process as well. So we bounced different kinds of ideas and options out there. So, where are we? Well, we have looked around and around and around, and right now the selected site is there's a school in Woodland Park. It is on McBride Avenue, and there's a picture of it.
It's pretty cool looking.
And I'm not a photographer, but I have some more. This is the front of the school. This school has, as you can see, a playground, a place where children can run and play. It is 3.1 miles from North End School to the door of this school. There's also a baseball field on one side, and the playground's on the other, and the grass all around. And here's some items to note, some things that we've already started talking about, and there are lots of logistical things that we still have to continue to work through. Transportation will be provided, obviously, from North End School. Drop-off will be just like normal. That's our intention. Buses will pull in North End lot. We'll work through the construction for them to be on the other side of the parking lot. Our buses can pull in. Kids will get dropped off as they always do, whether that if you pull up on Stevens and do the normal drop-off, we'll have staff members there. The kids will walk up the sidewalk, get right on the bus. As buses load, they will head to Woodland Park. Same thing for morning care and aftercare. We will take care of all of that. Children morning care will still open at 7:40, which is why that 7:40 drop-off will still be in place. And then we'll do the same thing coming back. One of the things that we are trying to work out, though, at this point is we think it would be in everybody's best interest if, when school is over at Woodland Park, that we bring all of the children back to Cedar Grove and aftercare will take place here. So that those of you that are working, especially if you have a child that's in kindergarten or pre-K and a student in 1st through 4th grade, all the kids will be back in one area. And if you're an aftercare parent, then you would come to pick that, both of your children up at the same place. Okay? We also have discussed we will be assigning a school resource officer to the campus, so that we have another layer of like a school campus monitor that many schools have, and we used to have them in Cedar Grove years ago, and so we are bringing one of those back for us at Woodland Park. And ultimately, our goal is to keep things as normal as possible in a very abnormal situation. And again, as I said before, this is not the ideal situation. This is not something that we're excited about by any stretch of the imagination, but we're going to make it work because this is what we have to do. We've been presented with a situation, and we have to come up with a solution for it. And so what we're also planning on doing too, as we finalize all of the logistics of everything, then we will open up the campus to have site visits for you and your family to come and your children to come and see the school, see where they'll be, do all the things that you would like to do, especially on a typical normal first day of school. Do that a little bit early so you can see all of those things and then get ready for the 12th. In the meantime, we will continue to send out our updates weekly on where we are, what's happening, what's going on. Class lists and summer mailing will go out as soon as everything else is finalized. You know, it's hard to write a welcome back letter when you're not sure where we're welcoming back people to. You can laugh there. You have to laugh a little bit. Come on, let's laugh a little bit, because I know there's not a whole lot of humor in it, but if we don't find some laughter, it's going to be, a long time to change. And I think that one of the things we have to be open-minded about is that we have to anticipate that there might be some bumps in the road. Things that we have to work out as we experience this new setting and we work through this situation. I think it's important also to note that patience is going to be very important. It's not only a virtue, but I think it's going to be a must. And I think ultimately too, I think I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that I think this situation will be as positive as we treat it. And if we talk about it positively, especially around our children, our kids will adapt and be okay. If they hear us talking about it negatively and we're talking about it as this terrible situation, they're going to feel that and it's going to be a tough time and it's going to be a long road until we can get back into North End. So I ask for your patience and your understanding, and we work together and we make this the best situation that we can. And then we have a grand opening first day of school in hopefully January, and we get back there as soon as we can. So, there you have it.
Thank you. Questions, please.
Shall I open up to questions? I'm sure you have lots. Yes.
Hi, my son has
Sure, you need to come up and state their name.
Yeah, excuse me.
Hold on just one second. Sorry.
We're
Yep,
recording
just
it.
for everybody here and virtually. If you
No,
could
they have
just,
to come up here.
Testing.
Because we have to video.
Of course.
if you could just state your name and address, please.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Heather Carew. My address is 50 Sunrise Terrace. My main concern is the busing for aftercare. Will there be a nurse provided on the bus? My son has allergies and an EpiPen, so I just need to know, is it safe for him to go on there? Who's in charge of that? Is that decided yet or not decided?
It's not been decided. In fact, we haven't touched on that particular element. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay, I'll sit right here so I can take notes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
No, it's not really on. It's just being recorded for the community.
Oh, okay.
Just have to state your name and your address, please.
My name is Tom Lamb, 149 Myrtle Avenue. Have new kindergartner in the North End, preschool student who was lucky enough to get into the North End through the lottery. So we're excited. First, just want to say, Board of Ed members don't get enough of thank yous enough for all the time they volunteer. The administrative team as well. And although the last month I was probably saying nasty things until we found that information, but in spite of our frustration, we know you've had the same frustration in the past months, and we do appreciate you working so hard on this. And although it doesn't appear to affect my two children, certainly most of the questions are going to be about the 1 through 4, I think. But just for all grades, is there a set date for opening, or is that to be determined?
September 12th.
It will be September 12th, which is great, thank you. And although, and is the pre-K and the K, is that still being worked on, or is it looks like it's going to happen?
We feel pretty good that Leonard R. Park School is going to work out for us. We've got some real nice classrooms picked out, restroom facilities, and
Okay.
they're very gracious to take us in, and we think it's going to work out.
Okay. And although it appears my children won't have to be bused, fortunately for us, I do know there's a lot of issues there, and so I just wish you luck on it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Listen, Christy calls the people, not you two.
Thanks for being on microphone duty, Mr. Schoner.
Hi, I'm John Montanelli. I reside at 30 Hillside Avenue. I have a son, John, that's going to be attending kindergarten. I just have one question. He's going to be at LRP, and thank God, because I work in the city. So I was just going to say, the aftercare, is that still going to be 6:30?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, thank you for holding the meeting to inform us. Thank you, Mrs. Dyer, for updating us as well. I'm Jen DeSordi. I have a first grader. I live on Young Avenue. My question was, I was just trying to clarify for the before care. Did you say they would have to remain on the bus, or how was that working?
Frankly, we're still talking through the departure times and the logistics of that. So we're saying 7:40 because that's the traditional before morning care time. But Ms. Dyer, you can jump in. How we're doing
I think what we were thinking was, as the children, as a bus was full, then send it to school where their teachers would be to take care of normal morning care. But getting them, we don't want them to sit in the parking lot until all the buses are full, and it would help with, I think, the traffic around the school to get the bus there, unloaded, and then move on.
And I guess my other question is, what are the options of your parents bringing you to the school for the children to be there? Will the staff be ready if you didn't want to have them on the bus?
So you're saying, yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
sure.
meaning if you're going to drop
Right.
Them off.
If you wanted to bring them there versus on the bus. Right, right.
Absolutely. I think one of the things to consider, and I'm sure many of you will take a ride over the next couple of days. It's like, as I said, 3.1 miles from door to door. I've done it a couple of different routes. I don't know what the traffic will be like, obviously, when school's back in session. And I will always encourage you to put your child on the bus just because of the traffic. Traffic isn't any better over there than it is on Stevens at those times of day. However, I would never stop you from doing that if that's what you want to do, if you want to take your child over there. So I'll have people positioned there at 7:40 and of course here. And we'll have also, keep in mind, there will be a staff member assigned to be there until all the buses roll out. And so, then we'll establish what that cut point is of, this is the bus, find your other way to get there. So we'll talk about all of that as we finalize through that. With transportation, how long is it going to take? I mean, I know what it took me, but I have a heavy foot. And they say that they're serious about that 25 miles an hour through town. So I'm going to make sure I set my little stuff, my cruise for that. So anyway, I hope I answered. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Christine Perry, 52 Cedar Grove Parkway. I have a little boy going into kindergarten. So do we know when you'll have that decision that it's definitely going to be LRP?
I don't have a specific date and time for that, but we met with the superintendent today, Dr. Newell. We've basically picked out the locations, and we've been given every reassurance that we'll have an agreement worked out.
Okay. And since that's a separate school, how is the separation going to work between the public school kids and any interaction with the other kids that go to the private school? How does...
Sure. And we've had a very open conversation about that already. As it stands now, the kindergartners will be in a singular wing of the building. The LRP downstairs has a different corridor, different hallways. So at this point, we have the entire right side of that wing for kindergarten, and there's also some faculty rooms, so there wouldn't be any commingling going on in that particular hallway. The pre-K classroom is on the other side of the building. So we're going to work out some of those logistics.
Okay, so like, would they do like lunch in their classroom? Because I know at North End they do it in the gym.
We're talking about all of those. This is
Okay.
literally the ink is still wet on
Got
these
it.
decisions. So you're asking great questions. We're asking some of the same questions. And so we're going to work those out in the next day or two.
All right. And one other question. So I know Stevens is very busy for drop-off. I can't imagine what Pompton will be like. Do we have any idea of where we're going to park to walk our kids in, or how that's going to work?
We're working very closely with the CGPD on a plan for that.
Okay.
And walk crossing guards and all the things
Oh,
that
yes.
need to be in place. I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you, Ms. Coakley, but
Oh.
have all of that taken care of as
Okay.
well.
All right. Thank you.
In the back?
John Pagnotta, 111 Oak Drive. So the way I look at it, and first, thank you. I'm not sure there's many people I trust other than you,
Thank you.
so thank you. But I see there are two elements to this. One is location. The question I really have, I know insurance. My house burned down in Cedar when I moved in, so I don't have insurance, unfortunately. But insurance takes a while to figure out. What are we doing to ensure that our teachers and the students have the supplies that they need day one to be ready? I know we're like T-minus a month here, and I got to imagine a lot of those things have been lost.
Good question.
Yeah. Great question.
We're here to help, but we don't have much time.
We're doing everything we can. The company that's cleaning North End is taking photos of anything that's being discarded because of its potential exposure to asbestos. Clothing, paper materials, stuff like that, whether it's teaching supply or personal material that the teacher may have owned. So we haven't yet seen the photos of the items that have been discarded. So we can't even say right now, today, what our liability is, so to speak, with respect to your question. So we're not sure
I
yet.
guess I don't have a lot of conviction that that's going to get figured out quickly.
Yeah.
So what are we doing proactively to be ahead of that, right? I mean, that'll take months to figure out, but
Sure.
maybe there are things that we're thinking about from a community perspective to try and address some of those things.
Well, I think some things to consider, both our reading and our mathematics programs have online components, so all of the materials that we typically use are accessible online. Our IT team has been asking me every day, where are we going, where are we going, where are we going, because they want to get everything set up with wireless and all of the things that go along with that. So we will have our Chromebooks are fine, so we will have access to those materials. Obviously, our friends at South End have, they're sharing with us as well, and so as much as we need to until we get all of those other items, because it's not, let's be honest, it's not like we can order them today and have them tomorrow, so some of that stuff takes time as well, but we will come up with a great plan to make sure everybody has what they need for the first day of school. Fortunately, too, I must add, our math is consumable materials, and that stuff was ordered and it wasn't delivered yet, so we
Thanks. In the middle? Really timing? Yeah. I don't want to discriminate. I never witnessed that I'm doing it. Oh, wait, just take the.
No, it's
For the camera, yeah.
Because we're being,
Michelle Parry, 141 Eileen Drive. I have two questions. One is the school in Woodland Park move-in ready, or does the school need to be prepped? Does it need to be cleaned? So that you're on target for the September 12th date?
You want to take that one?
I know that between Woodland Park staff and our staff, we will have it ready without a doubt. And I've also had plenty of parents that have said, what can we do, how can we help? And we're thinking about, once they give me the keys to the new kingdom, or the temporary kingdom, I don't call it the new kingdom. Nevertheless, obviously, I make jokes, but this is not funny. I don't want you to think that I think that it's funny. But as I said, I think we have to try to find a silver lining. Nevertheless, once we have access to the building, then we'll put it out there to see who wants to come in and help us and help, even parents are saying to me, Ms. Dyer, we'll come and we'll help decorate and we'll do whatever we need to do. And I know that this community will do that. So I'm very confident that we'll be ready and the school will look like a school on September 12th.
So it's vacant right now. We're not sharing it with anyone. It's empty.
It's empty.
Okay.
It's empty.
Good.
It's in decent shape, considering Mr. Featherman and I walked a lot of campuses over the last month, and there are some wasn't happening. And I was like twitching coming out of them, hoping that I was trying to be positive and trying to stay open-minded, and I was like, oh no, that isn't happening. So I think we're in a good spot.
Good.
Thanks.
Second question is on the buses. Are there going to be aides provided on the buses as they depart, or a staff member that's going to go with the children on the bus from North End to the next school,
for
and
sure.
someone getting off with them?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't put kids on a bus to go anywhere without supervision.
Besides the
staff
bus
members. Correct.
Okay.
So,
Just
absolutely, we'll have that figured
Okay.
out.
Thank you.
In the back?
How you doing? Thank you. Lou Marzullo, 9 First Ave. First of all, I'd like to say thank you. I know it's not an easy task. And I know you guys have put probably a lot of effort into this and thought and, put your ideas outside the box. One, I'm a little confused. Is the school vacant? I know driving by there last year and stuff, I did see the school active. So are Woodland Park residents actually using the school? One, and I know you said that it was vacant. So I heard staff vacant. So I'm getting a misread here.
Oh, it's vacant.
It's vacant. And by staff, I meant that they will get the building ready for us to take occupancy on this. There's some things that
So-
need to be just cleaned up
Sure.
and things, and
Okay.
there's nobody using the building at all.
Okay. No, because in passing, I thought that the school was active as of last year.
It was.
It was.
It was vacated in the spring.
Okay, so we will be the only occupants in the
That's
building?
right.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And second of all, and I don't know, maybe I'm not on the right email chain and stuff. I'm just a little upset with the communication in which everything had happened. I believe July 18th, asbestos was discovered. We weren't informed to, and I know you have to do your research and due diligence and all that stuff. However, the time and the manner everything was released, I personally found out on NorthJersey.com, which is not the way I want to find out. I know it was released in the Friday folder, maybe at the same time. I think we need to be up to date as far as what we're doing to communicate with parents. And I don't want to compare districts. In my district, Twitter is a very positive way to inform people. And I know, Ms. Dyer, I follow you and I follow the superintendent, but the last time I looked at anything was disseminated on Twitter was February. So I think we need to do a better job just communicating with parents. And one-on-one, we're on a good, but as a district as a whole and as a community, I think we could do a better job of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, I just wanted to make a comment on that, just so you knew the philosophy, and maybe hearing your comment, we should have done it a different way. But our thought process was, because we had a Board of Ed meeting, a special Board of Ed meeting already planned, it just so happened right around the time that this happened. And we had spoken as a board that we were going to put an email blast out to the parents telling everybody to come to that meeting. And that, I forgot the date of that meeting. What was it, July? July what?
27th, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
July 27th, wasn't it? Well, whenever it was around the time, it was like the week after,
July 27th.
not even the week after, it was like a couple of days after when all this happened. And I was the one who said, should we just put this out and have the community come? The thought process was that we had no answers at that time. And we were afraid to do that because we didn't even have information at that time, and we didn't want to start hysteria if it didn't warrant it. And to be honest with you, tonight, in executive session, I found out even better information tonight that it's not as costly as when we first found out. So if we had talked about it that night, it would have made it seem so much larger. I mean, it's a big problem, but we at least have the means, and we're going to get through this. So that's where our thought process was. It's not that we didn't want to communicate it. We just wanted to have factual information.
And I think just the one thing you bring up about the northjersey.com, and it just timing is everything in social media, and I bet right now it's already on northjersey.com and the meeting's not over yet. And that's what happened last time. As we were talking about it in the meeting, it was already being put out there, which is why if you weren't here in the audience, unfortunately, that's how you found out. And then after we discussed it, the next day is when the e-blast came out. So that's how you unfortunately found out about it. But we agree, communication can always be better.
But also the timing of it, there were other activities going on at the school, on the field and stuff, and we're walking up to a practice or whatever, and you see these windows boarded up with holes in it, and then the next day you have someone in an asbestos suit, and we're now,
Right.
I don't know the health concerns or the extent of the whole dangers of, on the property itself. But while we have activity, we should have been informed of that, because the kids are going on the fields, running around and playing and walking through this stuff, and we didn't know what was going on.
And we didn't either. What you were seeing was just the testing starting to see if there was even an issue.
But
So
at
we didn't
that
even
point,
know.
as an administration, I would have said, this was discovered, we don't know the ramifications of it yet, we don't know the extent of it yet. As of right now, we're going to suspend things at the school, we don't want anyone on the property. I just don't think that matter was handled correctly with kids going there. And again, I thank you for your efforts, and as far as that's concerned, I know it's a very difficult situation. Nothing went, if you put it on paper and it went the way it was supposed to go, it wouldn't have been like this. But, in a perfect world. But that as a community member, as a parent, as a teacher myself, I know that's how I feel. And I just think we could do a better job as a district.
Thank you. And we'll definitely work towards that. I think Mr. Featherman's done a great job since the event happened with trying to get out communication to everybody as far as updates and things like that. But we can always improve, absolutely. And so you're committing to Twitter a little, or tweet a little bit more?
We've been a little distracted.
Right.
Tweeting is not
Right.
instinctual for me, but we've been quite
Come on, you
busy.
can't communicate everything in 140 characters? Come on.
Yeah, I know. But we certainly appreciate it. Just one comment on the open windows. I want to make everyone aware that what was coming out of those windows was actually cleaner air than what was going in. We immediately had to hook up HEPA filters to those windows, so the air that was coming out was cleaner than the air that anybody might have been breathing walking down Stevens Avenue. So there was never asbestos being pumped out into anywhere around North End School, never for a moment. So just please know that. If there was ever any discussion about us pumping air out that was unhealthy, we most certainly wouldn't have done it without alerting all of you. But again, the windows were open with filters attached on the inside with positive pressure blowing out. Those filters were catching any and all microfilaments of asbestos and whatever else. So the air coming out was actually cleaner than the air we breathe. Just for the record.
Okay. I saw it, your hand's been up for a while, sorry. Nope, we're right there, yep.
Tiffany Willis, 67 Winding Way. Just a question for parents that have students at both the elementary level and middle school. With the buses being dropped off, have we taken into consideration the time? Are they going to forgive us a little bit if we're late picking up our kids or dropping them off late, those type of things?
We were just talking about that yesterday. How do we coordinate the different buildings? We have issues on a regular school day with folks with.
Wait till you have three in 3 different
Yeah.
schools, because that's fun. On a half day, when there's 10 minutes separating different, exactly. So I brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay, and just rest assured, there will be a staff member at North End making sure of waiting until every child is picked up. Whether that's, we have to determine whether I'm going to be at Woodland Park making sure everybody's on the bus, and I'll most likely get in my car and come behind, and then wait until every child is picked up at North End. And I think most of you know, if somebody's running late, we hold the child, and they're with me, and we do what we need to do, so they'll be in good hands. I won't let anybody go alone, I promise.
But you're going to do 25 going from school to school, right? All right.
25 miles an hour. Big crowd.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Deanna Liotti, 830 Pompton Avenue. My concern is the aftercare. You were saying how aftercare will be back here in Cedar Grove, but where would it be at? It obviously wouldn't be in the parking lot. Yeah, where would aftercare?
Most likely it's going to be an LRP, and that's one of the last things that we need to finalize. But if it's not an LRP, then we've discussed that it will be in another Cedar Grove building, not, in our district building.
Okay, and my kids go only a few days a week, so will there not be confusion that they're getting lost on a bus somewhere, and who knows where my kid is and where to pick them up? And I probably, do they have to be bused after school somewhere, or can I pick them up from Woodland Park? How does that work? If I'm not comfortable with them being on the bus, because I'm still not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to drive them directly to school and pick them up from school the days they weren't in aftercare, could I do that?
We would never tell you that you couldn't.
Yeah.
I just think that it will be very congested around that area, so I wouldn't encourage it. But if that's what makes you feel better, then that's what you have to do.
I don't know yet. I'm still deciding, but I just want to know. So that'll all be ironed out, and it'll still be regular aftercare. And now this question is so ridiculous in the scheme of things, but will there still be hot lunch? Because that's kind of important in my world. Because I know everybody's thinking it, but they don't want to say it.
We are still trying to figure out how we can make that happen. We're not sure at this point. I know it never starts in September anyway. It never starts until October, so we're going to try to see what we can do and make it one thing at a time.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, but
No, we already discussed it. Trust me. We're trying to work it out.
Not ridiculous at all.
Obviously, a lot of the vendors that we use are here in town, and how are we going to get them to deliver it over there? And so, Tony's Tastes really has great pizza, and they make it on our list every week. So, anyway, a little plug.
Who's pizza? Tony's? No.
Tony's Pizza. It's right next door to school.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Oh, wait, same. Okay, hold on, just to be official, then so I can, is there anybody else who would like to make another comment about this? Who hasn't already? Okay. And I promise I'll get back to you.
Kathy Palmera, 285 Ridge Road. I have a son that's in the pre-K program, so he'll be going to Leonard R. Parks. But he also, due to his IEP, he also gets transportation services from his daycare to, in the past it was North End, and then back to the daycare. Is that still going to be in effect?
We will make that work.
Okay, because okay, that's
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Nicole Sahanowitz, 102 Myrtle Ave. 2 questions. One, can you just go into a little more detail about the resource utilization person? I don't remember what you called it in your slides that you said you were enacting again.
School resource officer.
Yes. What specifically is that?
Okay. The SRO, the school resource officer, is oftentimes a police officer or a retired police officer
Okay.
that walks the campus, that sometimes is stationed within the building. When I became principal here in 2009 at the high school, Officer Tower, Detective Tower, was the SRO for Cedar Grove High School. He actually had an office in the building and, just made himself visible in the hallways and in the co-curricular spaces before, during, and after school. So the idea here is to secure someone to do that, an SRO, who would be at the Woodland Park campus for when the children arrive and until they depart, making sure they're overseeing activities within the school, and perhaps in particular things going on outside of school during recess, during the lunch hour, just to add an extra layer of comfort to folks that may have some concerns about the location, it's not being in Cedar Grove. So the SRO would be that type of professional.
Okay. And you mentioned, the delivery of books and things. For children that are getting instruments, things in 4th grade that are to be delivered to North End, they will just be transferred for them to Woodland Park? Okay.
Also, the SRO.
Delivery today, as a matter of fact, things started to come.
Also on the SRO, we used to have it here at middle school as well. That's before we implemented, if you've seen, we have a lot of we have the intercoms now at all the buildings, just for safety reasons, not so people can't go in and out of the buildings and all of that. So that's the purpose, because the school is not equipped with that, so it's really a safety measure. So it's something. Oh, yeah, but it's. Yeah, like we went we've been investing in the buildings, putting cameras around and doing all of that. So that's just, is an added element for the short period of time.
We're engaging the Woodland Park Board of Education to see if we can, I don't see why they wouldn't, we're going to offer at a small cost to install the intercom system with camera on the front door, like we have now at North End. So we're going to look to install that system there.
Thank you.
That's his
right
second
there.
time.
Oh, is it? No, has he been? I'm sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. We'll get to you again, I promise. Is there anybody who hasn't spoken on this topic and would like to speak? Going once.
You'll always have a chance to
there we
speak
go.
anyway.
Hi, Michelle Strauss, 276 Fairview. I have a couple of questions. In the morning time, is the 8:20 start time going to stay the same since now you're going to be busing the kids over? Or is that going to be pushed a little later?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure all that out, frankly.
Okay. For the actual inside of the building, is it the same size where the classrooms will be the same size? So we have right now 3 first grades, so will it be the same or will any be doubled up?
We are looking at perhaps partnering 1 grade level, 2 classrooms, but that hasn't been determined yet. But we have all the classrooms are large enough that our children can fit in there.
And what about for the classrooms that they have whiteboards, and do they have that in the classrooms?
Chalkboards. We're going back to chalk.
What about, okay, also.
Vintage.
And what about some other supplies like the art supplies? Is that all now
Keep in mind,
ruined?
Ms. Martin would have ordered all of her materials that haven't arrived yet, so all of her replenishment for this year was still in transit, hasn't even been delivered yet. Will there be some things that she will have lost in her room? I'm fairly certain of that because she had lots of paper and lots of stuff, and so.
And lots of paint and lots of brushes and.
Yes. And so, once that's inspected and checked and whether it can be cleaned or not, then we'll determine. But she also has a new fresh load of supplies that she'll have. Yeah.
And what about like for the media center with all of the computers? Is that able to be?
All of that was intact and fine.
And it's able to be removed and transferred over, or it's just going to sit there until January, February when we could get back into the school?
Well, we know the Chromebooks are definitely going to move with us. The desktops, we did not discuss that. I think that would be difficult to move all of those there because we don't really have a computer room or a lab to put them in.
Okay.
Also.
Last question. Is there any type of procedure being set up for if there's a lockdown or evacuation?
We will have to put all of those things into
Thank you. Whoops, yes.
Christina Dugan, 55 Skytop Road. I was just wondering if you could give us the street address. I know it's McBride, but McBride is a big street.
It doesn't come up, I couldn't find it on the,
Because I know there's a Beatrice Gilmore School. Is that still, that's not the building?
That's not it. That's
Okay.
not it. That's the actual, that's still their school in their.
Correct.
In their system. It,
So is it further?
Love Tony's Taste of Italy. I think it's 593, and it's like
Okay.
literally a block that direction. I mean, not even a block. You could see it. It's on the other side of the street.
Okay.
From it, and there's a florist right there too. I was trying to find the actual number of it.
But
too,
it does
and I
not
couldn't
come up.
find it on the map, but as I said, I'll pull up. Hold please.
Was there a name to the school before?
School number 1.
All right. And Mr. Featherman, there's going to be
654 McBride Ave, 654. Oh, okay, and it's across the street from 654. Okay.
You'll actually see the school before you
Just because I'd like to drive by it. And are we going to be calling this building North End School, or are we, so we can tell the children? I mean,
and we've actually even talked about putting a banner on the front of the building as well. And I don't know whether, because we had our banners that the FSA bought for us over the last couple of years, I don't know what condition they're in, but if I can bring those and hang them in the hallways.
Okay.
At our new location, or our temporary location, then we'll do that too.
okay, thank you.
And maybe, Mr. Featherman, in the e-blast that I'm sure you're sending tomorrow about this, we'll have something other than the place across from Tony's Pizza, right, as the address?
It will be more specific than 654.
Right, again, we just don't need to plug that pizza place anymore, right?
I tried to find the actual number for it, and it's not there.
All right. Yes. Yes, you, looking back, that, sorry.
Stacy Romero, 111 Myrtle Ave. My question is about aftercare. I have two of them. First is the busing. Are they going to be brought to North End and then to LRP, or just on their own to LRP? Okay. And my second question is,
Because I mean, just think about the YMCA operates that, so they will already be there, so it would make sense to just send them directly to LRP. Yes.
Okay. Second question involves the YMCA. I know there is another I guess there's other kids there at LRP. At the end of the day, are they there longer with like additional, I guess, programs or anything? Like, are they going to be separated from the aftercare? Because I know aftercare is a little bit more open and they're in the gym, and I guess is the YMCA prepared for that? And will they be separated from the LRP students?
They will be, and
Well, we have yet to fully discuss it with the YMCA. We're literally talking about, well, I met with the superintendent earlier this afternoon, so we have yet to sit down with the YMCA and the folks downstairs at LRP to establish all those parameters. But we certainly share your concerns. We understand it's a much more fluid situation until 6:30, so we're going to work with the Y, with their recommendations and our concerns, and put together the safest, most appropriate program for all the kids down there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Jody Lejoie, 35 Cedar Grove Parkway. So this may be obvious to everybody else, but so my question might be a stupid one. But for me, my daughter's going to kindergarten. I don't know a lot about the school systems. Who are the current occupants of LRP? Because I'm getting the sense that there might be some concerns about separation. So, okay, stupid question, new girl. But can there be some transparency for those parents who don't know, like myself?
We lease out the bottom first floor of Leonard R. Parks to the Essex Junior Academy. It's students anywhere from ages 5 through 12 that are not from Cedar Grove, that are from Essex County, and they have some behavioral issues. So their class sizes are very small. They have specialized attention. They have special outside service providers that work with those kids, and so sometimes people try to put kids like that into buckets they shouldn't be put in, perhaps, frankly. And, well, we're not going to go off on a tangent on that. I have no doubt that, again, that's been my home for the better part of 4 years now. My office is literally right upstairs. I have no doubts that we can work out coexisting down there. There are good professionals down there that I speak with on a weekly basis. So full disclosure, we understand the concerns, and we're going to speak openly about them. We've started candid conversations with the principal and the superintendent today about those realities. Some of those children are special needs children, and we need to recognize that, certainly, but I don't think there's a need to be fearful of that. So that's sort of where I sit with it, and we'll continue to talk through those concerns. I'm not here to stifle anyone's concern, but we have to be realistic that these are young children, and we'll work through that.
I had to ask the question.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
Oh, yeah, if you didn't know, absolutely.
And I just wanted to bring that one step further. I've been on the board 10 years, so I've been around when we've leased that to a different type of similar school, but we had daily issues there with where we needed police there and all of that. We have never had that issue with the current tenant of the building. It's very calming. It's a different type of situation than what we've had before. So the concern would have been totally different with the other tenant that we had.
And I don't think we
But
would
as
have
a board member, I
done
don't
it.
have that concern at all for our kids.
Different tenant.
Totally.
Than it used to be,
Totally.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Yes, in the back.
Hi, Bonnie Fiala, 16 Pine Drive. I have an incoming preschooler and kindergartner. My first question is, are there bathrooms in the classrooms at LRP?
The pre-K classroom, there is a bathroom right in the classroom. In the kindergarten classrooms, there are not, but there is one within, we didn't measure it, but it's very close by. The other thing keeping in mind, though, is those children will not go to the bathroom by themselves and will be escorted by an adult.
So will each kindergarten class have an assistant?
At this point, initially, before this all happened, I had 2 assistants. And I'm sorry, I had 3 assistants for kindergarten. 2 were going to be in one classroom, 1 was going to be in the other. But we're going to, I'm sure we're going to reconfigure that so that each class has one.
Okay. And since obviously I know you can't be in 2 places at once, who would be the main, who's the main go-to person then that would oversee?
Well, we've talked about that. Unfortunately, obviously, Mr. Featherman is actually in that building.
Okay.
As well as Mr. Kinney is in that building. We also have 2 other administrators that are in that building, our K-12 supervisor for English language arts and mathematics. And so we will be working out a schedule that there will be an acting supervising administrator in the building. And my intention is also to be there too and have somebody cover me so that I can be with the kindergartners, every now and again as well.
Okay, and my last question, as far as like special support staff, like music, art, will that all be the same? Will they go somewhere for it, or will they come to their class?
They will come to their class, most likely. We're also we were talking this morning with the superintendent of that school and asking if there were any other spaces available so that the children could leave their room to go to a different environment, and so we're working through that. But they will have specials of some sort in their classroom, if nothing else.
Okay, and one last thing, I just sort of, assemblies, things like that, they're separate, they're not mixing with the other students that are in the school?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no reason to think that,
There would be,
yeah.
Okay.
We haven't talked about that, good question, but there's no plans to have them brought together for any particular purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Irene Cadillo, 15 Skytop Road. I just want to say thank you for your presentation. It was a very nice presentation, and I want to say thank you to the board for updating us. Couple questions. One, I just pulled up the school on my map, satellite map, and I noticed it's by the river. What are the procedures that are going to be in place for flooding if the area does flood?
We hadn't talked about that. That's a good question. The school is on a knoll, so you have the school up top, and then there's the street, and the river's quite a bit distance below. We'll have to talk with the Woodland Park safety people, the police, and find out if flooding is an issue there. Okay. That's a good question. We hadn't gotten that far with our thought processes.
And the second question is there an auditorium or gymnasium in the school? So what is the plan for the kids to be active during the day, especially when the cold weather starts? Okay, thank you.
We're going to get out as much as we can, bundle them up in the cold.
Right.
Hopefully it won't be that cold.
That's right. And plus, hopefully September's will be half over by the time we get there. We have October, November. November's very short between conferences and everything else. Christmas comes in December. So we can do this. We're going to toughen up and go outside as much as we can. Because they need to go out. That was one of the things that was appealing about this particular campus, because there was an outside area for the children to play. And a lot of the other places, we didn't have that option. We had a concrete parking lot. And so, yeah, and that was a sticking point for me, because it's bad enough in the situation that we're in, and to hold them in the building all day long without any activity would be very difficult. So that was the shining star of Woodland Park.
Thank you. Yep.
In the back of it. Person is in
Yep.
Parent in the back.
Oh, 1 second, Mrs. Petrasic. Okay, Mr. Cannella is going to defer to Mrs. Petrasic, so go right ahead. Just form a line.
Mr. Canella's the last.
Microphone.
Yeah,
You
we just do
For
because
it's all
it's
official.
being video. No, it's
Right.
being videotaped. So
Margie Petrasic, 83 Harper Terrace, Cedar Grove.
no,
You gotta
need
keep doing
you
it,
need
yeah.
because
Okay, sorry.
the whole meeting is
Okay.
being videotaped.
Thank you very much for all of this. This is great. Your presentation was great. Everything you guys have been doing, I think, is great. You volunteer to do this. You're not getting paid. I think a lot of parents need to realize that. And I think that a suggestion, can we do like an, on the website of Cedar Grove, can there be like a suggestion box? So every time a parent comes up with a new question, such as we're near a river,
Great idea.
where they're going to be, how many police are going to be watching, this and that. Every parent can just type in their questions. Everyone else can see the questions being typed, and then a board member can check it off and say, "Here's the answer."
Great idea.
Now,
Or
we
Mr.
only
Walsh
found
can
out
do
about this a month ago, and you already have secured, 2 places. I think you guys are doing great, and I've been in the town for 15 years already, so I've had my kids in the school system, and I know that you guys are doing everything you can, and I trust that. New parents, you don't know that. You've never been to the town. But I think you should give them a chance and really trust them that they are not going to put your children in harm's way. They're not going to allow the kids go running out into a river, or they're going to make sure their school supplies are going to be there on day one. I mean, yes, if I didn't know the town, I would question them, but I know the town, so I know they're going to have everything ready. But I think if you did do a website where people can ask all their questions, and they just show up, and everyone sees every question, and everyone sees every answer. So that way you don't have to have a meeting, once every 2 weeks, because everyone will have the answers on the email.
That's a great idea.
We do that. We do that at our corporate.
Also, is there a place where parents can go to sign up to be volunteers to help? I mean, or is it just up to the teachers to get all of the school supplies ready and all of the stuff that's needed for the new school? Maybe you can have like a Saturday volunteer, and all the parents can come and help sweep and help clean the school to give it, if that would make them feel better, so that way they can really see what it looks like. They know it's clean. They know where the bathrooms are. I mean,
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We're certainly going to have that building as clean as it can possibly be, but we're going
I
to need you
believe
for other,
that.
we're going to need you folks for other things, for getting that school. We're
I
gonna
know
come
you'll
call on
have
you.
it together, but some parents, they don't trust you yet.
Yeah, we're going to work on that.
And I'll be working with our teachers too. I'll be meeting with them next to talk about logistically how we're going to
Put on our website, just have an area.
And then one more small thing. I know
May I ask
after
questions?
9/11, every company had to come up with a contingency plan. Of what if this happened again? Well, here's a chance for the town to put together a contingency plan for something like this to happen.
Like a link on the front, and then it takes you to a new page with all that stuff.
Just like every job has to have it, every school.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Canella, and then
My name is Chris Canella. I'm the president of the Cedar Grove Education Association. This is Jenny Villanueva. She's a teacher at North End and also an association leader. I don't have a question. I just want to let the community know that the teachers are going to do everything they can to make sure that the students are comfortable and or feel secure during this transition. I was on the phone with Mr. Featherman for a half hour today. We are aware of everything that's going on. The teachers are engaged. They've been talking to each other. Jenny's been keeping them informed about what's going on. Obviously, they do have concerns that we've been addressing with the board. The questions that you've been asking are all questions that we've been getting and trying to give to the board members. So I just want you guys, I want the parents and community members to know that the teachers are engaged. We're here representing them to make sure that we hear what the parents are saying and what's going on. We've been at the last 3 board meetings.
There's no doubt in my mind that North End teachers and parents will come together and we'll make it great, no matter where we are. It will be great. We are all on board. We are all going to make it work. We will all put our best foot forward, and we will be there for your children.
thank you very much.
And I just want to comment again. I mentioned the meeting that we had. It was right around this time. Mr. Canella and Ms. Villanueva were here that night, and without hesitation, they jumped right in and were supportive of the board and the administration without a doubt. And they brought the information back to the faculty. They had their own things, and I don't even know specifics, but just the way they were that first night when we all were, hit with this, it was just amazing, the team. And I'm a parent in town. My daughter's in the school system. My son graduated from here. I have never been more proud of our faculty and our administrators. I mean, what they have done in 3 weeks, what I heard tonight, I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time as well. I mean, we get snippets as a board, but again, every day there's been something going on, new information. Like I said earlier, we thought it was going to be much worse than what it actually is turning out to be. But there was never, ever from the faculty, from Mr. Featherman on down, it was never doomsday, ever. From when it was really thought to be bad, Mr. Featherman's first email to every one of us was, we're going to get through this. And I'm seeing it. In 3 weeks where we are, I mean, we had our hopes up on another location. That didn't work out. I thought it was going to take weeks before we heard where we were going. To hear tonight, I just saw the first location for the first time too. It's amazing that all of this has been going on behind the scenes. And Mr. Featherman was on vacation one of the weeks that this has all been happening. And he communicated, it's amazing. So I have never been more proud of who we have running our district, the administration top-notch, and to see, I keep saying Jenny, I'm sorry, but to see every meeting, it's her summer, and Mr. Canella to be here, it's amazing. And like I said, it was never, what are you doing, what's going on, never, ever that. It was just, how can we help from day one? So that is amazing, because this could be a lot worse than what it is. So it's going to be a short, temporary hiccup, but we're going to get through it. So this has been great. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes. Okay.
Round 2.
Christine Perry, 52 Cedar Grove Parkway, again. You guys had mentioned CROs, so they're going to be at LRP also? LPR, whatever.
SROs.
The safety, these acronyms. So the safety, like the ex-police are going to be at where the kindergartners are going to be full-time?
We haven't talked about that as part of our plan. Frankly, we don't feel we need that as part
Really?
of our plan, given the fact that this is our home, and this is our building, and it's my office and many other people's offices, and we'll take that suggestion under consideration, but at this time, that's not part of, it's not to suggest it won't be, but at this point in time, it hasn't been part of the discussion.
I will tell you, as a mother of a kindergartner, it's a concern.
Okay.
I know there's another person here with me that is a kindergartner. You know, like we had said, I think every child deserves an opportunity for an education and all of that. That has nothing to do with it. But for me, my main concern is the safety of my son. So that brings me to my second question. Not that I would particularly want him to get bused to another town, bordering a town that might not be the same caliber as Cedar Grove, but what was the reasoning behind separating the kindergartners from the other grades? Is it space? Is it safety? What is that?
I think both of those were considerations, not to mention the fact that space was a big issue, because there just are not a lot of vacant buildings that have 16 classrooms available to them that are at the caliber that we want the building to be, so I'll leave it at that. Also, the other thing was, thinking about kindergartners and kindergarten parents and having them have that sense of security of the children staying in town, and that's why we thought that it would be good for pre-K and the K to stay in Cedar Grove.
And I can understand that. I mean, I'm a working parent, so my child will have to go to aftercare and all that. I mean, he's gone to preschool not in the town, but close to the town. I mean, I have to be completely candid. Safety is my number one concern. This world is crazy. So I really hope you guys take that into consideration. And then my other thing, someone asked the question, but I don't think I heard the answer. Have you decided how you're going to separate yourself in between where you're going to be? Are you going to get a vice principal, or like how are we going to clone you?
Well, we are going to set up a schedule for the administration to cover LRP when I can't be there. So there will be another another administrator assigned to be supervising what's going on.
Okay. Okay, great. Obviously, the education of my son is of utmost concern too, but the safety, is also, so.
Yes.
I'm back again. Excuse me, John Martinelli, 30 Hillside Avenue. Just one quick question in reference to the aftercare. Because a lot of us, as you know, both parents work. So in essence, like if you have like the first week, I believe, the first 3 or 4 days, I think it's the first week, obviously, you're right. Anyway, it's half a day. At the end of the half a day, does aftercare come, or it's just that since it's a half a day, that aftercare? In other words, in between, like if I'm in the city and it ends at 12, do I just take a half a day? What is aftercare?
Looking at these two folks here, we don't have it.
3 days, they have not been passed. They have not.
Okay, so any half days then?
Not any half days,
Oh,
just those
first
first
week, just the
three
first
half
3
days.
days.
That's correct.
Gotcha. Okay, because my kid's in kindergarten. Fair enough. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. The question is regarding typically kindergarten students only, and pre-K students only attend a half day the first 3 days of school. And so the question is will the YMCA be there in operation on those half days? And historically, that has not been the case, because kindergarten is the only students that are dismissed early. Grades 1 through 4 stay the full day. And so on those half days, it's been, there's no aftercare for that. On the other half days, the Y is there for our Columbus Day and our
Martin Luther King.
Our Martin Luther King half days, then that would be, aftercare would be in session for that.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tara DiMattia, 63 Cedar Grove Parkway. I'm just wondering in terms of the buses, and I'm sure so many of the logistics have to be figured out, so I understand that. In the morning, do you have any idea if there's going to be all of the buses that are available there at once, or is there going to be, like, I know you said there was the time, the 7:40 probably to start, and then, you know, so on from there. I'm just foreseeing, you know, all of us, like, trying to get the kids pushed on the bus so that we, you know, are not doing the Indy 500 to work in the morning. So it's, you know, like the bus is filled and now, you know, we have to wait for the next bus, you know, for our kids to therefore then be able to get on. I mean, I'm not sure if any of that's been decided or.
We haven't, I mean, I haven't sat down with transportation at all.
Right.
About how that all works timing wise and whatnot. I will say this, I did come from a school that I had 9 60-passenger buses that pulled in every day, so I've been down this transportation road, so I will consider everything that needs to be considered in regards to that. And we will work through all of those things. And it may look different the first week, just because if any of you have ever experienced transportation, it never typically runs smoothly the first week, the first couple of days. And that's, a lot of that has to do with going from door to door to door to door, which we won't be doing. However, know that there will be some bumps in the road, but we'll put things in place to kind of handle that, and then as we get the timing down, then we'll kind of work through that. And if there's ways to increase that by assigning different specific times, then we'll work through that the best that we can. And as this unfolds, if you have suggestions or ideas, please don't hesitate to share those with us as we work through those transportation issues. Because I'm just going to say, there are transportation issues. Right. It happens. Right. It happens. So, but we'll work through it. And there's always communication with the people that are on the bus. If there's a bus aide on there, we'll be able to communicate with them, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, the question is, oh my goodness, what bus did Johnny get on? Trust me, we will work that all out. We will have that plan in place as well.
Yeah, and I guess the only other thing with the busing then is like the sensitivity in terms of what they're bringing to school, since obviously now it's a difference in terms of like, you know, projects and things that are large in scale. I mean, my daughter's supposed to play the cello this year. I don't know if I foresee that occurring at this point, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. So, I mean, just things like that, like the first days of school when they're bringing all of their supplies and things like that in, and they have like the huge bags that they're coming in with all of their things, you know, maybe that just can be done. I'm sure you guys will work that out. You know, maybe that could just be done like a little at a time, or only a certain amount of things have to come in the beginning, or whatever you guys decide. Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you.
I just want to point out, as people are talking, it's bringing back memories of new things that went on here. And again, bringing up the dropping off or the buses and stuff, I remember when we opened up this building, and we had a plan in place, and we thought it was going to be the perfect plan. But it was a nightmare, okay? And that's our own school here in town, and it took maybe 3 or 4 days, you know, or the first week of school to figure it out. And then it was fine. But the first 3 or 4 days, the parents were screaming. There was lines going down to Bradford Avenue because of the state of how we were, you know, parents were taking forever to say goodbye to their kids. We didn't know. Then all of a sudden it just became an assembly line. So there are going to be issues. It's not going to be perfect. And if it is, then again, kudos to our administrators, because it's a new experience for us. It's new for them, but I just wanted to bring it back that it happened here in our own town, in our own school. So just because it's going to be a different location, it's not because of that. It's just a new experience, and your plans may always work out the way you want them to do.
And I hope you're not worried about being tardy. We'll work that out. Okay. Everybody gets a little pass in the first couple of I see some parents winking at me. Nevertheless, we will work through all of that, and we won't count anything against anybody until we get a good system in place. So then I want you on time, on the bus.
So clearly, Mr. Mandela is not in the traffic on Ridge Road at 7:45 when we're all dropping off our children at the middle school.
Oh, it's still happening?
Just saying.
I'm at the high school now, so I don't have, the high school's a nightmare. I just want you to know. So
No, I think the high school's way easier than the middle
No,
school, yeah. And then
no.
the second thing is we're actually not new to, the smaller kids being on buses because there's a number of South End students who actually take the bus to school, my children included, Mr. Sakala, who's sitting in the audience, his daughter who was in kindergarten also. So we're kind of used to the whole, they got bags, they got stuff on the bus, and so that part's not new. And I'm sure Mrs. DiMatteo will help Mrs. Dyer with how that all works out. So we are familiar with all that. I know it seems scary in the cello, and absolutely, but we've kind of gotten through it before. So I see another hand back there. Yep.
Deanna Liotti again. Back to the bus issue. Do we have any idea if it's going to be like first graders with fourth graders? I know it's probably going to be hard to separate. I mean, my concern is the real little ones with the bigger ones, and I hate to say the word bullying, but it's tough, but you don't really necessarily.
K through 4 on the bus that comes to South End every day, and and I'm sure we started to do is the fourth graders really look out for the little ones, and they kind of escort them out. Some days when I don't have an aide there, they'll walk them down into it. So the third or fourth graders sometimes really rise to the occasion and help us with the little ones. But if there's supervision on the bus, we haven't had any incidences of that kind of stuff going on. So
Thanks.
It's not bad, really.
And also know that I have orientations with the students at the beginning of the school year anyway, and we talk about rules and procedures and how we behave and all those kinds of things. So the transportation piece will be added to that conversation, and that we will make that a part of that learning experience, because some of the children they haven't had that experience of just how they can ride the bus safely and how to sit appropriately and be a good passenger and all of those things. So we will work through all of those things.
Yes.
Just one last question, kind of the kiddos.
Just the microphone,
Yep.
please.
Maintaining the
And
normalcy.
I'm sorry, state your name and address again.
Tiffany Willis.
Oh, thank you.
Are we going to still be able to continue the fun stuff? Halloween parade, my daughter brought up. We still going to be able to do those things at the other location?
As many as we can.
Great.
Especially considering we don't have an alternative for indoor if there's inclement weather.
Right, okay.
But as many things, Mrs. Zunick and I have already talked about, now that we have the location in
Mhm.
mind, we can then look at our calendar that was already set,
Right.
of course,
Mhm.
and then determine what we can do and what we need to change or update or
And maintaining
or
some of the-
revise, or push off until the spring when we get back to more event.
Right, like
I mean,
some-
obviously it wouldn't make sense to have a Halloween parade in March,
Right.
but we might.
Could be fun.
Never say never.
It could be fun.
Absolutely.
Christmas in
If you're gonna
It
do the
could be
first,
fun.
if you're gonna do the first day of school in January, maybe come March, it's Halloween.
We'll work through all of those things. There will be some things that we won't be able to do, but we'll try to do as much as we can to keep it the same, and like I said, make up whatever we can in the spring.
And then like the fundraisers and stuff, because I'm sure we'll be needing that money for some of the, replace some of the things. So I guess if fundraisers can't be held in this fall, maybe do them in the spring.
Exactly. We talked about that as well. So my next meeting will be with the FSA board and how we move forward with some of those things, including hot lunch and activities and, all those different kinds of things. I keep hearing pizza. I don't know if they're
Monday through
hungry
Friday.
or-
Yes.
I was just wondering, have any staff been displaced because of what's happened at both of these schools? And, is there anything that is being done to, to be compensated, or is that an issue as, the community looks to fundraising that should be looked at as well?
Displaced, what do you mean?
Displaced how? I mean, folks that would have been there in the summer?
Yes, for example, custodial staff or.
Oh, we have plenty of other things for them to work on. Thank you for your concern. Ms. Dyer is in my building with us, and as is Mrs. DiMatteo, as is Mr. Mangili and Mr. Gogarty and Mr. Gallagher. So we've made a cozy home at LRP, and we've moved offices there and hooked up phones and computers, and we're open business as usual. You'll dial the South End number and you'll get Mrs. DiMatteo at LRP, and likewise for North End. So we're up and running, and we've been all summer, and so we have a good team.
I was thinking about, specifically the custodial staff, and didn't know if there were others that, given what happened and if they're not able to get into the building, if that was affecting them in unexpected ways.
Yeah, we've relocated those folks. The middle school, as you know, is chock full of activities, so there's all kinds of repairs and cleaning issues to deal with. So we've got our folks very busy. Thanks.
Yes.
David Fernandez, 34 Marlboro Drive. Where are we at this point with the remediation? How's it going? We have a target date, a target month, maybe sooner than later?
Right. It's moving along. South End is very nearly all cleaned. We were told today that we would have full clearance at South End on Saturday, this Saturday. And already we've gotten 3/4, actually more than that. It's 6/7 of the areas cleared in South End, where the contractors have already returned back in, and they've been busily working on bathrooms and finishing it up. North End, it's coming along. They're in there, they're cleaning as we speak. But as I've shared with some folks here, the focus has turned to South End, given early on we were told that North End would be unavailable for a variety of reasons for at least a few months. So the focus is South End. It's on schedule to open September 12th, and we're happy about that.
I think in the back, the way back, yep.
Christy Mendez, 50 Boston Parkway. My daughter's going into kindergarten. A nurse will be at LRP?
Yes.
All day with them?
Correct.
Okay, so it'll be somewhere.
Yes, the LRP has a nurse downstairs, and so we're talking about shared services that way.
Okay.
It's a very small school. Please understand the LRP population, it's 40 kids, so they have a very small population that's down there.
In the third row?
Michelle Murray, I'm going to want to see your report. I have a question about staff in the building that's not part of North End. Is there going to be like any custodial staff or anyone else that's walking the building that's not part of the usual staff? Do you know what I mean? No, like somebody from.
Do you mean on McBride, just to clarify?
Yes,
Okay.
part of their school or their whatever.
There's
So
nobody
all
there.
custodial staff, all that will be from Cedar.
Correct.
From North End.
Correct.
Frank will be with you.
Frank. Let's call him by name. Frank will be there.
My other question is, I know said visitation would be the week of this, the my family needs to have visitation. So what would be more important?
Open house. We're talking. She's asking about open house. We don't have a date yet. We were talking the week of the 6th. We'll figure it out.
That's not a normal week for vacation, but because we're starting so late.
I'm sure you're not alone.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people have done that, so we'll have to entertain whatever we need to have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Once, like I said before, once we have keys and clearance and whatnot, then we can, set some dates a little bit more in stone for that.
Any other questions? Oh, okay.
I think we should give an overview of where we are. Tina's question. I think we should go where the delays of the.
Hi, Jen Story again. We're open till we eat lunch, and we're in a special state place, so our, phys ed, well, phys ed, as I mentioned before, will be outside as much as possible during the, good weather, of course. We don't have, there isn't a facility for to have gym inside, they'll use things in the classroom as they've done, in situations for whatever reason, we were unable to use the gym and it happened to be an inclement weather day. Lunch will be from still working through that. Most likely the children will be eating lunch in their classrooms. But they'll of course be supervised and whatnot, and then we'll move to outside. I'm also hoping that we can have outdoor picnics and things like that on in days of good weather as well, to get kids to be able to be outside some more as well. That hasn't all been finalized, but we don't have a cafeteria yet.
And then so we'll special
We'll be pushing in, yes.
It's a glutton for punishment.
I know, right?
We might as well disclose.
Anyone else? I thought I might have seen another hand. Maybe not. If you are, just wave a little higher so I can see. No? All right. Well, there'll be another opportunity, obviously, at the end of the meeting, if you come up with another question or something that you want to say or anything like that. But for now, I'm going to close that portion of the meeting. And do we want to just take like a 2-minute break and...
Wait, before people start to
sorry.
leave, because I
Okay.
know people might start leaving. Dina, to your question, I just leaned over. You didn't get specific, I think, but I think this might be a good time. I was just whispering to Mrs. Dye, just an overview on the updates, on the facility upgrades. We're pretty much on track with everything. We do have slight delays, though, in areas that we're just made aware of. Again, like I said, the contractors work with Mr. Featherman every day, and the sports complex is delayed a little bit longer than we had anticipated. We may be looking at a 60-day delay. The high school auditorium is on a 60-day delay, and the locker rooms we thought were going to be a longer delay, but it looks like it's only going to be like a 2-week time frame. Everything else, I hit them all, right?
Yes.
Everything else is on track to be completed as planned. So that's an update as of today. Again, they're working as quickly as possible to get all this stuff done. So that may change to be sooner. But right now, they gave us worst-case scenario on things that are delayed. So that's what we just found that out tonight, as a matter of fact, at our executive meeting. So with a crowd being here, it's easier to just get that information out. So.
But on an important note, the bathrooms at the high school will be ready on time, right, Mr. Featherman?
They're almost done.
There you go.
They look incredible. I mean, if you've been to the high school, many of you have, you won't believe. All of the flooring has been replaced. All of the VCT tile throughout the building in every classroom has already been installed. The bathrooms are pretty much done. It's amazing. It is absolutely, I don't use that word lightly. It changes your entire mood when you're in that building. Having been here now 7+ years. The hallways were dull, we did what we could with ceilings and lighting, but the new flooring, and we've painted several classrooms and spaces. It's going to be worth your investment and worth the wait. That's all I can say.
Thank you, both.
Thank you, everyone.
So we're going to just take like a 5-minute break, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. We'd love to have you, but it is 9:30 and we understand, so.
Leave?
No. And I believe Mrs. Dyer is taking questions out in the hallway, too. She's not really running away.
I don't think she really wanted you to announce that.
Is there a garbage can back there? What? Do you have garbage can?
I just swallowed mine.
I'm gonna have it in a minute. We have an agenda to get through.
I know, exactly.
What was the setup?
We'll give them a minute to filter
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word, just for the record.
I don't know if I like you two next to each other. It's like, you know,
Things
I have
come
to
guide
split
us
up
through
the
here. Sure to come, yes.
All right.
the children.
All right. Moving
How's it
on.
look, Nick? See if we.
Are we good? Okay. And there was a moment where he advised us that if you press the bottom of the microphone, it mutes people, so we want to just, yeah, so don't touch that.
So it was muted a lot of the times.
Right.
When people were holding it, they muted it.
Right.
So.
We tried. Okay, moving on. If they shut the doors. Mr. Cannella, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of help me out in the back with the door. No, just shut the doors.
It's not part of his contract.
Don't kick anyone out.
Everybody's welcome. Just shut the door.
No, we just wanted the door shut. That was it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Not kick them out.
No.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Here we go.
Yes, must have gotten knocked over.
Here we go.
All right, from the Office of the Business Administrator and Board Secretary, can I have a motion for B1 and B2?
I move to approve motion, but I'm gonna.
No, you
just
don't do
say
that
so
yet.
moved.
Sorry.
Second.
He's new, he's still learning.
Can I tell you?
Don't worry, I'm probably still going to mess up how we do this, so it's all good. B1 is a motion to approve the public and executive minutes of July 19th and July 27th of this year. And B2 is a motion to approve the board secretary's certification to the Cedar Grove Board of Education pursuant to the code that no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which in total exceed the line item appropriation in violation of the code, and further pursuant to the code, no major account or fund has been overexpended in violation of the code. Any discussion?
None.
Roll call?
Mr. Pergolovic?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
You did a pretty good job.
Mr. Shoner?
I'm abstaining from B1, but okay for B2.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
And Mrs. Dye?
Yes. Under business, there's a lot of business. Let's just, can I have a motion for B3 through B14?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, B3 is a motion to approve the subscription busing contract for the parents with the student listed in the amount listed below for the 2016-17 school year. B4 is a motion to approve the Section 504 review for the Cedar Grove Public Schools. And I'm just going to read, the objective of this review is to utilize both quantitative and qualitative measures to examine the Cedar Grove School District's procedures used to determine 504 eligibility and services. The scope of said services shall not exceed a cost of $10,000 and shall entail the following as listed below. B5 is a motion to retroactively approve a HERA Consultants to furnish asbestos monitoring and oversight at Cedar Grove High School, North End and South End Elementary Schools, as listed therein. B6 is a motion to approve the payment of $6,914.18 to the employee number listed below for a total of 12 unused vacation days. B7 is a motion to approve the payment of $201.09 to the employee number listed for a total of 1 unused vacation day. B8 is a motion to approve a HERA Consultants, Inc. to furnish all labor and material necessary to provide the Cedar Grove Public School District with associated designated person services for the period July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017 at the annual rate listed therein. B9 is a motion to approve a HERA Consultants to provide annual indoor air quality screening, including asbestos and air mold testing for the 2016-2017 school year, the cost listed therein. B10 is a motion to approve a HERA Consultants to provide South End School preliminary testing at a cost listed therein. B11 is a motion to approve a HERA Consultants to provide South End School summer cleanup at the cost listed therein. B12 is a motion to approve the subscription busing contract with the parent of the student number listed in the amount listed below for the 2016-2017 school year. B13 is a motion to approve the subscription bus contract for the parent of the student listed therein in the amount listed below for the 2016-2017 school year. And B14 is a motion to approve the following board committees for the time period August 17th, 2016 through January 3rd, 2017, and it's listed therein. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna add B15, can I add that, just because it's the last one, I didn't realize that?
Certainly do that.
All right, B15 is a motion to retroactively approve Sharp Entertainment to use the Cedar Grove Memorial Middle School field, gym, main office, and classrooms for a film shoot on August 13th in the hours listed therein. They'll reimburse the district for custodial costs beyond the regular workday. Any questions? One thing I just wanted to mention is B4, which is the Section 504 review. We're already doing a review of the IEP. Earlier, a few months ago, we approved an audit of the IEP services, and so we had decided as a board that we also wanted to do an audit of the 504 services as well. So this is why this is in addition to that. So, any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Pergolovic?
Yes.
Mr. Shoner?
Aye.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes. All right, from the Office of the Superintendent of Schools, under Personnel, can I have a motion for S1 through, there's a lot of S's there. Okay, let's just do S1 through S12.
So moved.
I'll second.
S1 is a motion to approve the revised Cedar Grove Public Schools Comprehensive Equity Plan for the school years 2016 through 2019. S2 is a motion to approve Mark Resnick, interim business administrator, retroactive from July 28th through November 1st at the rate listed therein. S3 is a motion to approve Ernst Turner of Summit Management Solutions as interim BA business administrator at a rate listed therein, retroactive from July 29th. S4 is a motion to approve Michelle Rack, high school math teacher, at the rate listed below, effective September 9th, 2016. S5 is a motion to approve Michael DiChiara, Northland School physical education teacher at the rate listed therein, effective September 9th. S6 is a motion to approve Mia Palma, Memorial Middle School maternity leave replacement math teacher at the rate listed therein from September 9th through December 2nd, 2016. S7 is a motion to accept the resignation of Ashley Melnick, Southend School paraprofessional, effective July 28th. S8 is a motion to rescind Catherine Ralston, high school cheerleading assistant advisor for fall football, and approve Catherine Ralston as the high school cheerleading lead advisor for fall football. S9 is a motion to appoint the following staff in accordance with the state emergent hiring start date procedures, as listed below. Should I list this? Okay. Kristen Ralston, high school cheerleading assistant for fall football, retroactive to August 15th. Omer Urson, fall volunteer football coach, retroactive to August 10th. And Giancarlo Carrigan, fall volunteer football coach, retroactive to August 10th. S10 is a motion to approve Thomas Mugen as girls assistant soccer coach, retroactive to August 15th at the rate listed therein. S11 is a motion to approve Robert Brady, high school assistant football coach, retroactive to August 10th at the rate listed therein. And S12 is a motion to approve tuition reimbursement for the summer 2015, fall 2015, and spring 2016 semesters for the following employees, to be paid at the second board meeting, but no later than October 15th, 2016. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pergolovic?
Yes.
Mr. Shoner?
Aye.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes. Can I have a motion for S13 through S21?
Motion. So moved. Second.
S13 is a motion. Alrighty. S13 is a motion to adjust the salary degree increases of the following staff members effective September 1st, 2016. S14 is a motion to approve the following substitute teachers for the 2016-2017 school year at a per diem rate of $90. S15 is a motion to approve the following substitute nurse for the 2016-2017 school year at the per diem rate of $175. S16 is a motion to approve the following substitute secretaries for the 2016-2017 school year at the per diem rate of $90. S17 is a motion to approve the following stipend positions for the 2016-2017 school year. S18 is a motion to retroactively approve the following personnel for the summer 2016 extended school year program for June 27th through August 1st at the rate listed therein. S19 is a motion to authorize attendance at the following events listed below. S20 is a motion to approve the following leave of absence as listed. And S21 is a motion to approve the following students for classroom observations as listed. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pergolovic?
Yes.
Mr. Shoner?
Aye.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes. Under contracts, can I have a motion for S22?
So moved.
Second.
S22 is a motion to approve the following contracts for the 2016-2017 school year for special education services as recommended by the Director of Special Services as listed therein. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pergolovic?
Yes.
Mr. Shoner?
Aye.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes. Okay, the meeting is open to the public for comment on items on or off the agenda. Yes. Oh, sorry, the person in the back first. You'll be next, I promise. Don't press the button.
Jeannie Moreno, 42 Rugby Road. My question is about the high school construction with the field not being done before school starts. I live on Rugby Road. Right now, the road from Ridge to the high school is closed. Is that going to continue? Because that's going to make a real traffic problem.
Yeah, well,
Wait, is it still closed? I went through
still
there today.
closed.
Well, it's closed. During the day, it is closed. At night,
Because they took the
You don't see the
sign
sign.
down.
yeah, I've cut through too. I have a truck, so I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, it is.
No wonder why they gave me a look, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it is closed.
Did you run over the sign?
Oh, no. I just did it today.
Yeah.
we're going to get that area straightened out as soon as we can. We have to, as you can imagine, we have to repair the road, and then we'll get that opened until we have to close it for certain periods of time to finish the parking area. But we're aware of it. We're trying to get our ducks in a row to get that.
Okay. I realize you have a lot of bigger issues, but
that's,
for my street, I figured I'd ask. And also, with the locker rooms not being done for the high school, are they not going to have gym the first 2 weeks, or?
Well, the first few days, week of gym there isn't gym. We're talking about how we're going to handle that. It may be 10 days worth of
No gym?
no gym.
I can handle that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Lamb again from 149 Myrtle Avenue. Didn't want to make these comments right after the presentation because I know your first priority is getting the buildings ready, getting the students ready, and getting all the logistics planned out. But someone made a comment before, and it made me think about just some thoughts I had in my head over the past couple of years. And they made a comment, well, what contingencies is the school and the town going to work to make sure something like this doesn't happen again? And it made me think about, okay, certainly priority is getting the students into the building and certainly safety and all the logistics. And of course, the referendum projects that are continuing, which I think is wonderful, much needed, and I commend you for pushing these forward. And I guess what I'm hoping to see is that after January, when this asbestos problem is behind you, that you'll already start thinking long-term, what is our plans, what's our bigger plan? I know you do demographic studies, long-range facilities plans, and one of the things I notice, just having young kids at the town pool or at youth soccer, everyone asks, are you North End or you South End? And although nobody has bad intentions of it, it's somewhat divisive. And I remember one time my wife and I were at Esposito's with our kids probably over a year ago, and I look out the windows and I look across to see an empty lot and say, wow, that would be a great place for a K-4, K-5 Cedar Grove Elementary School. And people probably think I'm crazy. They're probably thinking my taxes are going to go even higher. But I do think you have to think out long term. And chances are, if something like this ever happened, my kids would be out of elementary school by the time the building was finished. So, you could say I'm being self-serving, but it's really for the betterment of the town. I look at what other districts are doing. Milburn has a referendum, $30 million in September, to build a 5th grade technology academy. People might say, oh, well, that's Milburn. Mountain Lakes is having a referendum next spring and say, oh, well, that's Mountain Lakes. But even Lyndhurst in Bergen County, certainly not the most affluent district, somewhere in the middle, they sold an old school to a developer, used the proceeds to buy land and build and they will be building a brand new building. It's probably several years in the works. And I just think that long-term vision, I give them a lot of credit. I know people in Lyndhurst, it's taken them probably 10, 15 years to get this going. But sometimes, the people who did it, they never gave up on it. And the proceeds from the land sale is helping make the tax increase certainly, reasonable for the residents. And they're going to end up with a brand new school with state-of-the-art technology. I know the big thing in schools are maker spaces and active learners. And it's hard to do that in classrooms as much as you renovate them. They're not as big as the new classrooms in the newer buildings. And I just think, a lot of people in this town are concerned with the development going on in Overbrook. Another development near the train tracks on Little Falls Road. The demographic study may or may not say that schools are going to be overcrowded, and if they say they're not, nobody believes it, And so I just hope the board and the administration have that vision to see long-term and just think creatively the next project. Certainly, I don't expect you to even discuss this until after January. And so I just thank you for all your effort, and I know you have, everyone I talk to, you have our support, and thank you again.
Thank you. And actually, to answer your question, we've already started thinking about long-range plans. We started thinking about it a couple of years ago when we knew that the development was really going to happen in Fairview or on Fairview rather, because we know that there's going to be a lot more kids. And so we've talked about, well, how do we solve that problem? Because it will, potentially become an overcrowding issue. So we are starting to think about, okay, what options do we have? They include, do we do a K through 3 or something in one location? How best to kind of put everybody? So we have already started thinking about it. We might take a 5-second break once this project's over, but then we'll be back on it again. But it is something that we think about, because as soon as that building is done, we know that there's going to be a lot more students. So absolutely.
We've already, just to, again, further, once we heard that development was approved, even though the developer did their own study of what the influx will be, we don't believe it. So we're hiring our own outside source once that all it'll be done within, the next year, to really give us an idea of what the impact will be with the student influx. And once we have more concrete information, then we'll look at maybe redistricting the town. Maybe taking LRP back and making that so there's so many different things that so you say wait till January. Like Mrs. Dye just said, we've been talking about this for over a year now.
I think it's going on 5, because when I first ran for the board, that's when the first Rutgers study was shown, if there was development on up in that area at the time. So
but more serious conversation.
Yeah, now that we know
it's happening.
Right.
So all of that is really happening behind the scenes already, because we have to think that far out, and because it's going to happen quickly.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you.
No, thank
Absolutely.
you.
One final comment. As we learned Mrs. Tavernier was leaving, was a little worried. I'm just very glad that we having Mike Leader on, and most people don't see the resident, so it's going to be, a great addition.
We're
Again,
very excited.
I didn't even know he was a Cedar Grove resident until I met him when we interviewed him. But we're looking forward to it, because Renee is a really hard act to follow, and we're excited. We can't wait, and we've learned that he's coming sooner than
The sooner the better. No offense,
we
of
put a lot of
course.
pressure on him, so we got him sooner. So it's going to be great. Ern, we love you.
We
but,
do. We absolutely do. But thank you. Any other questions? All right. I close that part of the meeting. Future meeting announcements, August 30th, here at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. for executive session. And right now, September 13th, here also, 7 p.m. executive, 8 p.m. regular meeting. And thank you all. I thank everybody for their comments and obviously for their support. clearly, it's, it's been tough on everybody the last few weeks, and I just want to thank, Mrs. Dyer, who, is probably not used to shopping for new schools in the summer. She's probably used to doing different things, and for running around and really just keeping the kids as the most important thing. And just from her presentation today, I mean, it's really, she treats them like they're her own. And so I would feel absolutely confident sending my kids anywhere that she is going. Not that I don't love Mrs. DiMatteo, and I spent, a number of years with her too, but, obviously, I think everybody can really trust that it's not gonna be the same, but it's gonna be okay for a few months. So thank you for everything that you've done.
And Mrs. DiMatteo, we know you're there. I mean, we
Right.
know. We know.
Absolutely.
We know.
Right.
No, we know that, the support, because it can't be done alone, and it's amazing the team that we have in place. You guys are amazing, amazing. Thank you.
And obviously, thank you to Mr. Featherman, who is just nonstop with his updates and trying so hard and trying to think about everything, ahead of time and thinking, the bus issues and all the little things that matter. And I thank you for all your efforts. And
You're very welcome. We work with some amazing people, so it's all doable.
And as he says, we'll get through this. That's what he says every day. We'll get through this. And we absolutely will. A year from now, we're going to say, oh, remember that few months we were in the McBride school? That was fun. So, anything else? A motion to end the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Purpolovic,
Yes.
Mr. Shoner. Aye. Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Mrs. Dyer.
Yes. Good night.
Executive going on if you'd like to join us.